Hey, we good? How's everyone doing? Oh my. I started to read an email at the last second. I thought, wait, I bet you we're live right now. How's everyone doing? My name's Kurt. I'm a dad who draws, and this is Monday Afternoon Live. We always get together on Monday afternoons and draw from 2 to 3 o'clock, and I am really glad that you are here. Today we're going to draw this lighthouse in the mist, and I'm going to show you a trick. Not really a trick, it's what I do in order to create objects that are in the distance. And between you and me, it's not really a trick. It's just a matter of drawing. Are you ready? Drawing lightly. Woo! Isn't that exciting? All right, let's get into this and get rolling here. Hey, Lana. Good afternoon to you as well. Who do we have? We have Elena is around, and Cindy here, and Lynn is with us. Great. I got my all-star crew ready to go. All right, let's see what's going on with this. Caught you, so looking forward to this. All right, Annette, good to have you. Oh, what is going on? We have okay, so this brings up actually a really good wait, let me get some more coffee here. Now, as we get into this, please do take a minute and subscribe to the channel, like the video, do all that good stuff. Leave a comment down in the comments section. Of course, you know how all that rolls. So let's get into this right now. All right, let me bring up this idea to you called atmospheric perspective. What is atmospheric perspective? Well, atmospheric perspective essentially means that if something is in the distance, there's going to be atmosphere, the atmosphere is between you and that object that's a long ways off. And what happens is that object that is in a distance becomes much more lesser in value. Okay, it becomes a lighter value. You see this all the time, actually, and don't even realize it. If you look at the any mountains in the background, any mountains in a long distance are going to be lighter in value. If you look up in the sky during the daytime and see the moon, there is so much atmosphere between you and the moon that the moon looks a little bit lighter and much lighter in value. You see what I'm saying? So we use that. We use that in our mind to, if something's going to be in the distant, to put a lighter value. Well, it's kind of like the same thing here. The top, I'm looking at our picture right now. The top of this lighthouse is further away than the front of the house, the little front corner there, because it's a cloudy day, and so it's lighter in value. That makes it go back further. You see, we're going to use that trick. We're going to use that today, and really the essence is just to make sure that you draw lightly. I draw lightly. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started in today's lesson, and I'm going to have a brand new page. And if you are drawing in a sketchbook or something, make sure you make your drawing a little bit smaller. Don't go like an 8x10. It's too much to cover in just an hour's time. So you really want to be drawing about the size of a 5x7 or a 4x6. Okay, that's kind of what you're shooting for. And then after class, if you want to do a bigger picture, then you could spend more time. But so don't go anything bigger than a 5x7. That's what we're at too. All right, let's go ahead and get started. And I am live, so if you have any questions, just throw it in the chat area, and I will answer them for you. All right, so we've got a framework that we're going to start to build upon. And one thing I want to make a slight adjustment in our picture, and this comes up with the idea of composition. And right now, if I look at the top corner here and then down here, the land is almost perfectly in the center of this picture. So I'm gonna scoot the land up just a little bit higher when we actually draw it. All right, so let's do that right now. So if I look at our square here, here's the top corner, here's the bottom corner, and this is that's about halfway. Well, I'm gonna draw the land just slightly above the halfway mark, okay? All right, next, look where this grassy field, look at that. See where that grassy field starts? This right here is about, oh, I would say almost a third of the way in. So let's kind of put a little mark there. All right, so it's going to be about a third, just lightly, very lightly. And then we could just kind of guesstimate about where it's coming in contact there. So I'm going to come down here and halfway, right about there maybe. Okay. I'm just going to draw an angle. An angle right there. Okay, let's go ahead first, before we do this lighthouse, let's get the house. Let's get this house let's get this house rolling. So I'm going to look at that line right there. In fact, let's change the color a little bit on this. So I'm looking at that line right there, and then I'm going to look at this line right there, okay? And so I'm going to go here. I'm going to make mine a little wider. All right, let's get whenever I draw a house, I always want to get the main part of the house first, and then I could add on to it. So this would be the third corner of that main house. You see that? All right, let's get that in as well. And I'm going to shift mine. It's not exactly center. It's just off center, just a teeny bit. All right. Okay. Let's put a light. Now remember, we got to keep this light. So I'm gonna first put in this angle here. That's my roof angle, right about like that. And that's about the other side. It's going to be like this, and then like that. Very subtle. It's subtle because it's near the horizon line. All right, let's very lightly, let's put an X on this side of the building. And then let's bring a line up from that X, maybe right about there. All right, let's go ahead and get a diagonal here, a diagonal there. All right, so this is important here. I'm going to put a new layer so I could draw on top of my drawing. This is going back to that vanishing point somewhere in the distance. We don't really need to know where the vanishing point is. We just need to know the directions of these lines. This rooftop is also going to go back there, so we want to make sure when we draw it that we're drawing it with a bit of an angle so that these lines will converge someplace in the distance. Look at our picture here. That's, I could do that better. That's going to the vanishing point, and then look at that. See that angle of that roof? That is also going to converge, and that's what we're looking for. We're going to take this angle and copy it. And I'm just kind of sharpening up some of my lines. Still keeping it light. All right, we're going to keep this. I'm not going to add this extra. If you want to, you're more than welcome to add this extra side house, but to keep it simple, I'm going to leave that off, okay? We're going to leave that off. But you are welcome to add that to your drawing. In fact, you could really wait till we're done drawing it to add that. Let's go ahead though. These windows are interesting. So let's just add a couple slits for those windows right there. All right, let's go ahead and get this lighthouse in now. Okay, look at this. Let's look at some measurements here now. Look, that's the corner of the back of the house there. And if I use a vertical line, okay, the center is just off that corner. So here's my corner, and I'm going to come up. I'm just going to move my pencil over, and I'm going to put a little mark up on top there, just a dot. That's going to be the height of my lighthouse. Now you could draw this many different ways, but I'm just gonna come down. Let me erase this here. I'm just gonna put some marks to help me determine where some of those key points are. So, and these you could just kind of guess a little bit. You don't have to be completely accurate here. Now this is similar to a cylinder, so let's, I'm going to put a little bit more let's go ahead and just get the sides, and then we can angle them. All right, so in this case, I'm going to take my board and I'm going to spin it. It's a little bit easy for me to get straight lines when I'm drawing from left to right as opposed to drawing up and down. So if you're white, feel free to take your sketch pad, and just spin it for a second. And now I could drop in two very vertical two vertical lines, and so now I can bring my sketch back, and I'm going to use those as guides. I'll use those as guides. I'll be right back. I'm back. Okay, here we go. Let's start with our first mark here, and there's going to be just a slight oval like this. You see that? And then our second mark, now this is important. Well, watch what I do. I'm going to draw the other oval, but it's going to be smaller. And one thing about ovals, and we've talked about this before, and it's totally worth repeating, is, when you have a center line like this, don't draw this on your page or draw this in the margin. When you draw an oval, you want to make sure that this side is reflective of this side. Okay, you don't want to draw your oval like this. You see? This side is not reflective of that side. So you really want to draw it like this. Okay, let's keep going here. So as I look at this lighthouse, this is going to be the top there. You see that? And then I've got the peak up there like that. Okay. All right, I'm working on the next little marker, next little ring there. Remember, what we're doing right now is working out our construction. Okay, this tapers down just a little bit on either side, and then expands out. Now my little lighthouse is a little bit shorter, but that's okay. I would probably, if I was to redo this, I would make it a little bit longer, but that's all right. We could pretend like this is up high on top of a hill. So I added 2 straights along the side of this lighthouse. Okay, let's go ahead now and add a light tone to this top area here. Nice light tone. And as I look at my picture here, I'm just kind of now I'm just kind of looking at shape. So we've got those sides here. Still, I'm drawing really light. Adding a little detail. I'm afraid I already probably got too dark, but that's okay. We'll just see what happens. I'm just kind of adding some of the details I see very lightly. I'm not pushing down here. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of the railing at the top there. And then even down here on the roof here, this is a similar value as that top of the lighthouse. So let's very carefully keep adding a little bit at a time. We don't want to go too dark yet. We're going to save the punchy darks for the grasses. Now, like I said before, I kind of sort of ignored the one extra part of that house. And you are welcome to, once we're done here, to add that on your own if you want. But for the sake of time, I'm gonna remove that. And the only thing I would have done differently, which it's too late, is I would have made my tower a little bit taller, but that's okay. All right, let's come in here before we go much further and look at this awesome tree. So it's just a silhouette. So behind here, just look very carefully at this tree. Don't rush over it. All right, now the part down here that's going to be interesting. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and add an even tone down in this area. And then the other thing I want to do is I want to go over the right side one more time with another tone, because even from the picture I could see that this is a darker value. And we're just going to bring these values up slowly. And I'm also going to add a value, an even value over the whole front of this lighthouse to help separate it from the background, from the sky in the background there. All right, let's talk about grasses. Let's talk about drawing grasses, okay? I want you to think of these grasses as like, not as individual strands, but as groups, okay? Almost like you took a sickle and you cut a group off and you held it tight, all right? So that's the way I want you to think of it, and I want you to think of it more of in this shape. I'm gonna take away the picture for a second. I want you to think of it almost like we're going to draw our grasses like this. Here's one batch of grasses. You see that? And then we might draw another batch of grasses. You see? This is going to create mass and volume. So that's in my thinking. You don't have to draw that. I just want to show it to you so you get an idea what's happening. Okay. Let's go ahead and go to the back here first. And get an idea of how big the grasses are going to be in this back area. You see that? And then come down here and draw another mass or another volume up front. Now what's great about this is it immediately creates depth, and gives us a guide, you see, so that we can get variation. So let's do another one here like this, and it's Okay, I'm going to put another one here. As you can see, I'm really trying to stay as light as possible. All right. Next, let's get these weeds, these flowering cactus, or I'm not sure what they are, but they're almost like the darkest point of my drawing. So I don't want to leave them to the end. I want them to almost kind of be the stars of the show. And with me, I'm just drawing kind of like, oh, just a little square by pushing and pulling, pushing and pulling. Trying to get all these in first before I start like working in my grasses. Okay, let's start with the front here. And I'm looking at my picture, and I'm once again I'm going to start thinking of these. These are the grasses that are up front here, and I'm start thinking of them as grouped together in this group. I'm looking down below, and there's some irregular shapes from dark value. And these are the ones that are closest to us. So we don't want to hold back in value as we add these, because this is going to help create the depth of field, you see? And when I'm drawing them, I'm pushing down and I'm kind of pulling up, okay? Pull my pencil off the page just a bit. I'm going to, now it's not really in the picture, so I'm kind of using my imagination and winging it at the same time. But I definitely am thinking of these grasses of growing in bunches. The other thing too I'm going to add is just some little dots here and there to kind of maybe represent the heads of these grasses. They're not wheat or anything, but where the seeds are coming in. Okay, back here, I'm going to do the same thing, but this time make them a little bit smaller. I'm thinking of, when I'm drawing it, I'm thinking of, is there a shadow? Is there a little bit darker side than a lighter side? Okay, I get further back, they get smaller and lighter. Take your time. That's what we're doing here. I'm going in with the side of my pencil now and adding maybe a little bit more tone underneath. Okay, this is interesting. Look at this. Look at the value. Look at right in here. You see that? Look at the value of the darker field, the top of the grasses that are lighter, and then the darker grasses in front of those. You see that? Let's see how we do in that. So I'm gonna come in here and darken up this. there's even a slight change in value on that house. And I'm going to just emphasize that just a little bit more. Trying to create some contrast back there. Hey, Russell. Thanks for tuning in, my friend. If you're just watching this and you're looking for a nice community of artists, I would recommend that you join our Facebook group. We have a very active group, and I would really love to have you there. It's people post their work and are able to get feedback, and that's always nice. In addition to that, if you're looking for some extra classes, I do have memberships. There is one in particular that you can find the link in the description called the Dedicated Student. What that is for $9.99 a month. You get over 20 hours of drawing instruction live. We do draw every single day for about a half an hour, and we look at things that have to do with the portrait, character design, landscape, man-made objects. In fact, today we'll be looking at foam patterns, drawing waves and the patterns that foam makes. That's going to happen right after this class. But that's only for members only. And you can use the link in the description and sign up for that. All right, so what I'm doing now is I just am adding some more variation in value. Yes, you are, Lynn. I think I granted you access to the higher level, the Patreon membership, Lynn. If you're not, let's reach out to me in email afterwards, and we'll double check that. Okay? Because I think you signed up for a year. So you're in. Okay, so I'm going to keep working in this lower area here, darker values, because I really want the eye to go back in space, to go back to where the go back where that lighthouse is. I'm getting back here to kind of get a better view of my drawing. I think for my drawing, yours might be different. I need to darken in this field over here a bit. And I need to add another value to the field that is closest to me, because I want that to be closer to me, as opposed, I want the sky to be the brightest point of this entire drawing. This is what I call organization of values. You pick the lightest, it's like, okay, this is the lightest point of my drawing. And so you don't want anything to compete with that. And then you kind of establish, well, where's the darkest part of my drawing? And then you get that. And then you don't want anything to compete with that. Even if it's not that way in the photograph, you still want to make some of those adjustments. Organization of values. Okay, well, believe it or not, we're about out of time. And I think that's going to do it for today. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. And if you do get a chance, like I asked before, please subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. That's always so helpful. And that's what I got. Okay? My name's Kurt. I'm a dad who draws, and this is Monday Afternoon Live. Thanks for watching, everyone. Now go out there, make your day great. Bye-bye. Hey, Christina just chimed in. Hello, Christina. Lynn and Russell, Annette, Lana, Elena, and Cindy. Thanks, you guys. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.